Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk about how to simplify meal prep through raw vegan means, right? Look at this beautiful meal, okay? Can you see that? Can you see that? We got carbs, protein, fat, fiber. Got a whole plate full. Look at that. We got some nice sugary foods and everything in there. We got all of that in there. So this is grapefruit, clementine, banana, raw spinach, cashews. Okay. Now you can put sauce on the spinach and the cashews if you want. I put it together like this because I don't really need to put anything on my greens, so I don't really do it very much. So this plate right here, this is a little over 20 grams of protein, right? It's either 16 or 20, it's one of those. 600 and change as far as calories is concerned. Of course, when you add the protein smoothie, get the extra protein in. I like to add the extra protein smoothie in because, well, I'm advanced enough in my training where I have enough muscle mass that it requires it. But most people don't necessarily need to incorporate protein smoothies. Not unless you're training very frequently and doing hypertrophy training that requires a lot of muscle repair. But that's it. If you don't like washing dishes, you don't like cooking, being in the kitchen, you have a busy schedule, a busy lifestyle, these type of meals are for you. Now, this plate loaded with calcium, potassium, manganese, magnesium, iron, copper, all of that. It's like a plate full of multivitamins. This type of plate will heal your gut, improve your digestion, rebuild muscle, strengthen your bones, improve your sleep quality. Everything. This is how you eat. And it's an easy meal to pack. If you want, you can put the nuts and the fruit and even the spinach if you want and put it in and blend it right into a smoothie and take it on the go that way. Some people do that. But I like to sit here and chew my food and enjoy it. I don't want to drink everything, right? But it all comes down to personal preference, but there's plenty of different ways to do it. Now, all of my food for today comes out to around in between 1,900 and 2,000 calories. 3 meals, 1 cooked meal. So, first meal here, banana, grapefruit, clementine, a few cups of spinach, half a cup of cashews, and a protein smoothie. That's number 1. Number 2, it's a similar plate where it's 2 Granny Smith apples, a few cups of chopped bok choy, which is Chinese cabbage, and a half a cup of either peanuts or walnuts. I haven't really decided which one I want to do yet. And quite possibly another smoothie. The cooked meal is green lentils and tofu in a curry basil tomato sauce. with a variety of different seasonings in it, like cayenne pepper and cumin and onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of paprika, you know, some sea salt, nutritional yeast, and raw sugar cane. That's pretty much it. One cooked meal, and I cook all of it in one pot. So I don't have a whole lot of dishes to clean. I get all of my food in that way. The one cooked meal is the meal ideally that you would have after work, when you get home, and you have the ability to get in the kitchen and warm up food. But most of my food is raw and cold or cool. Like this grapefruit. Oh, that tastes so good. You eat like this, it will drastically improve your sleep quality because of the zinc and the magnesium and everything that goes into it. The sugars, all of that. When my kiwi gets ripe, I have a bunch of kiwi now, but they're hard. They're like stones. So I gotta wait for those to get more ripe. But once they get more ripe, I will swap out one of my Granny Smith apples in my other meal and add in a kiwi. I might even swap out this banana and add a kiwi. So I may have 2 kiwis a day. I mean, you can mix and match. You know, later in the week, I'll get, you know, grapes or berries, right? Raspberries or blueberries, some type of berries, and throw them in. And you can mix and match with the fruit. Now, ideally, the way that I'm eating now, this type of eating, you end up eating like 5 or 6 cups of raw greens and about, let's see, 6 to 8 servings of fruit. It's cold, sweet. About 2 to 4 servings of nuts. One serving of nuts, like these cashews, one serving is 1/4 of a cup. I usually do a 1/2 cup at a time. So if you do a 1/2 cup twice a day of like 2 different types of nuts, that comes out to about 4, well, it comes out to 4 servings of nuts. Now on this plate right now, I have a 1/2 cup of cashews, but you can do 1/4 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup of cashews and like 1/4 of a cup of, let's say, pumpkin seeds, or 1/4 of a cup of walnuts or Brazil nuts, or you know, sunflower seeds, or whatever you want to do. Now, one of the benefits of eating most of your food raw yes, it's convenient. If you don't like cooking, if you don't have the time to cook, maybe you don't have access to a kitchen or whatever the case is, you're on the go all the time. Yes, this is extremely beneficial for you. And, you know, you can gain muscle, right? You can do a nice clean bulk if you're bodybuilding. All you do is just add some more nuts, add some more fruit, and boom, right? You can add some more lentils. Maybe you can even add, you know, some rice to your lentils, or throw in a baked potato or something like that. Or, you know, you can make some home fries. You can do that if you wanted to actually add calories because you're looking to increase mass. And if you want to cut, well, all you really do is just adjust your portions down from there. So it really depends, but it works either way. But in particular, the reason why eating most of your food raw is because it's very good for digestion. Now, raw vegan diet, one of the things it's very good for is if you're struggling with anxiety and depression, Raw vegan eating has been proven to significantly help with mental and emotional wellness. Raw vegan eating helps improve sleep quality. Raw vegan eating helps to reverse gut health illness, right? So if you have things like, diverticulitis or Crohn's, UC, right, ulcerative colitis, whatever the case may be, this is a very good way of eating to reverse that. Now, the reason that is because all of the raw foods, fruits and vegetables, in particular vegetables, most people cook their vegetables. But when you cook them, you cook a lot of the nutrients out of them. So they get all shriveled up and withered. You cook a lot of the nutrients out of them, and you cook a lot of the water out of them. This is a very hydrating diet. You see people tell you, they say, oh yeah, drink a gallon of water a day. A lot of people need to drink a gallon of water a day because they don't have water in their food. But if you eat your greens raw, or at least lightly steamed, you retain the water in your food. So it keeps you hydrated. And this is a better way of keeping you hydrated, right? Because raw greens has two very important things. Raw fruit has two very important things: water and fiber. Water and fiber together creates a slow release of that hydrating water into your body, into your bloodstream. So it slow releases and time releases dehydration. So you stay hydrated for longer. You drink a bunch of water, you gotta run to the bathroom and pee, right? So you're just drinking and peeing, drinking and peeing, drinking and peeing. If you drink a gallon of water a day, you know what I'm talking about. You're constantly peeing all the time. Because you got all of this water, it's just hitting your stomach, and your body's just got to flush it out, right? It can't just sit there. But with the fiber regulates your appetite, and the water also helps regulate your appetite. So things kind of move through a fluid, seamless process. It's not just dumped in there, right? Everything is regulated. It's auto-regulated. So you're not constantly running to the bathroom. If you're trying to cut body fat, this is a phenomenal way to do it. When you're trying to cut body fat, it's very easy to either undereat or overeat. Now, when you're trying to cut body fat, if you go into a calorie deficit that's too much of a deficit, you feel like garbage, and the more you feel like garbage, the easier it is to want to quit. If you have a habit of undereating, you just feel tired all the time. And the thing is that if you undereat for long enough, your body will slow everything down. Your hormone production, everything. Your energy output, everything. Your mood will collapse. You'll feel terrible. Your joints might even start to hurt if you undereat long enough. Because when you undereat long enough, what happens is you just don't recover. And things slowly start to slow down until they eventually turn off and shut down. So even though you're in a calorie deficit, your body is so sluggish, your metabolism is so low, and your hormonal regulation and output is so low that you can't use the body fat. Your adrenal function is so low, and your cortisol levels are so high from the extended drastic deficit, you'll end up losing muscle and bone mass before you actually end up losing body fat. But a lot of times people overeat. So if you have a calorie goal of 1,600 calories a day or something, But then when you finish adding all the condiments and everything like that to your food, and adding sugar and whatever to your food, you end up hitting 2,000. You end up hitting 1,800 or something. When you eat mostly raw, and you mix these bitter greens with sweet fruit, for me personally, spinach doesn't taste sweet and great, right? You can't binge eat spinach. I look disgusting right now, yeah? But if I mix the sweet with the bitter and the spinach, it works out great. It's perfectly balanced. And this retrains your taste buds, so you don't need to add a bunch of sauce and milks and sugars and all of that type of stuff to your food. And you get to appreciate the natural tastes of food. And then of course you have all the fiber, and the fiber regulates your appetite so you don't overeat. If most of your food is raw, the chances of you overeating, not really so high. Because the fiber will fill your stomach and then signal to your brain you're full. And then you won't have the desire to eat. Last but not least, and I'll end on this. If you do intermittent fasting, like for me, I'll start eating sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I finish eating by like 8 or 9. That'll help you stay on track, because you have all of your eating in a closer portion of the day. And the fasting helps you to improve your insulin sensitivity. And you develop some self-restraint, because you don't let your hunger signals overwhelm you, where you just collapse and you start shoving stuff in your mouth every time you feel hungry. So the fasting teaches you how to abstain, right? Teaches you discipline. And I like discipline.